Welcome to the June 20 SID meeting. We want to call this meeting to order, and the first item on the agenda is to approve the meeting minutes. I assume everyone got that same email that I did? Yep. And went through that.
I move that we approve the minutes from the May 16th meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye. Thanks.
While you're doing that, has everyone had a chance to review the agenda for tonight?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Any amendments to the agenda?
Nope, none here. Looks good.
I would entertain a motion to approve this agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of approving this agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so we have old business. We have some, this says update from Eddie Ishmeal. Does Eddie have something he wants to continue to say, or was it just, you would carry that over?
I did talk with the Wake Club owner. They're fine with staying in the middle as best they can. I didn't hear back from everybody on the holiday. No quite certain, I guess, on the holidays. And then as far as like approving it, there's hard to, unless they've got a screen that says it. So like my boat doesn't have a screen that shows how much water is in the ballast. Some do, some don't. So I don't know how that would be done other than auctions. I think they'd probably be okay with the holiday deal. I don't start on the holidays. I saw here y'all were asking about length and all that stuff.
Yeah, we haven't.
I haven't asked. I mean, I don't care to answer those questions. I just don't know what questions.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. Your question is a very good question.
I would say our longest wake boat on this lake is 24 feet.
How many?
24 feet. And then and when I say 24 feet, that is from the nose to the transom. It does not count the swim platform on the back. So that's not calculated in their length. Weight, I don't know the weights of the boats. They're going to be different weights.
You think that would make a difference?
I mean, it makes a difference in the water displacement. I mean, I don't see how it could not make a difference. But you can't. I mean, a lighter boat isn't going to put out as big of a weight as a heavier boat. But I don't know. The easiest thing to regulate or to try to work on would be the length of the boats. Left it at 24 or reduced it or whatever. That's going to be the easiest way, because that's going to affect the weight anyway. I mean, a 24-foot boat is heavier than a 22-foot boat.
Right. And the more people that can fit on a bigger boat, that kind of thing. So.
Well, I mean, that plays a little bit into it, but more about the water displacement and the safety. Because the safety or the amount of people that can fit on the boat, that's set up by the Coast Guard. They're the ones that set that regulation. So like my boat, for instance, can hold 14 people. Some boats can hold 16 or 17, and that may not be as big as my boat. It just depends on what that boat is rated for by the Coast Guard. Okay. The same thing as pontoons, like all of them. You know, you've got a sticker that says rated for 16 people, and there's a big bright yellow sticker. Every boat does it. And I don't know about anything else.
Okay.
I mean, you guys have questions? I mean, I'll gladly answer the best I can, but I don't know.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Eddie?
Yeah, Mr. Ishmeal, last time we asked you if you could please remain the point person for the folks who own wake boats. Have you been able to talk to very many of them to say, please discipline yourself and watch out and stay so far away from the shores and in that cycle?
Yeah, we've been texting pretty regularly. There's only a couple that I don't have their numbers. But the rest of them, I'd say I've probably got 9 of their phone numbers, and we all text about it. So we're all on the same page.
Thank you.
And then I ran into another one yesterday. He only comes up like once or twice a year. I talked to him a little bit about it.
Okay. Anyone else? No other questions for Eddie? Comments on, my suggestion is we make a motion on something tonight and put this thing to bed, maybe for a period of time.
I want to discuss, I live on Lake Thunderbird, and I watched Memorial Day traffic. Trust me, it's not the wake boats a lot. There were so many pontoons out there, docks back in my cove, where we hardly get waves. They were rocking. It's just not the wake boats, people. We had way too many boats for this size of lake over Memorial Day out there. There must have been 25, 30 boats out there at one time. How lake safety can keep up with that, I don't know. A lot of rude boaters too. I've seen people coming up behind people on tubes. That's against the law. If we're going to have DNR out here on the weekends, we might ask them, because there's a lot of rude boaters out there, and it's just not the wake boats. I want to set this clear. Okay?
Anything else? Comments concerning wakeboard surfing, that type of thing, which is what's on the table?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we need some sort of a definite policy on it. I don't know what that's going to be, but, you know, our lake committee came up with a solution based on their research and so forth. They presented that back in February, if you remember, and it got tabled and kicked, and we've tried to figure out what to do about it. But in judging from the letters that we've had and listening to the talk that Lucinda McDaniel had the last time we were here, I've had a change of heart on the whole wake boat situation, and I would like to see a move that we eliminate that in a constitutional way, and I don't know how to do it. But I'm just telling you, that's just where I'm at. I witnessed some of them out there on Memorial Day, and it's not a 2-foot wake. It's a monstrous wake that they're surfing on. So I think the lake's too little for it. Nothing against wake surfing or the people doing it or their critter that they're doing it with. I just feel like our lake is too little for that. And it's not our fault, and it's not Cherokee Village's fault. It's just the size of the water. And so I had talked to Susan. She's been working a little bit on paperwork. I don't know if we can do anything at the moment other than maybe develop something that could be implemented in 2023. I don't know if you can do it now, in the middle of the year. Do you?
Well,
you know,
you're talking about wake boats, maybe 2-3 foot waves. I seen a pontoon out there with 12 people on it, and they were skiing behind it. This thing had a 250 horse engine, and it was putting up the same amount of waves as a wake boat. So it's just not the wake boats. I'm trying to tell you, we have too many boats out there on the weekend sometimes, and lake safety is not keeping up with it.
Can I offer a fact?
Well, I know lake safety's out there.
No. 611 boat stickers is how many permanent annual stickers we have sold. I can give you a count on how many guest stickers, we talked about that. But 611 is what we ended last week with, or maybe the week before, because we made the same comment. The boats out there is so much more than what it's ever been before.
Ms. Susan?
I would like to make a motion to move that we institute the policy change that was approved by the Cherokee Village Lake Committee in February. That policy change says it's the majority vote from the committee that we would like to change the policy that we have no wake surfing boarding on Lake Thunderbird in any capacity. This would not prevent the use of boats, but prevent them from filling their bladders and ballast with water on any part of the lake. And they go on to say what their research is completed, but like David is saying, and like Joe is saying, and like I have witnessed, we have too many boats, and it's not any one boat's fault. It's not any one boat's fault, but we need to control the wake on Thunderbird. So I make a motion that we do what the policy change says. Just don't do it.
Okay, so specifically, your motion is that we do not allow the filling of ballast. That's really the only thing you're moving now.
No wake surfing boarding allowed on Lake Thunderbird in any capacity.
Well, wake surfing and wakeboarding can be done behind any boat.
Okay.
So what you're saying is you don't want to have anybody wakeboarding behind a pontoon boat?
I guess that would be fine. I want to,
be
Tim, I'm not
specific.
trying to argue with
I know you
you.
have to be specific. I don't have doesn't matter to me. This is a 5-person group. You can make a motion, but I just want to be specific because I'm the chair. I'm trying to make sure your motion is clear and specific, and that's all I want. So if you're asking, the boats can't be banned in my thought
They can't.
itself, but if you're saying we can't, that they cannot fill their ballast, that's a change in policy.
Policy. But the policy was approved and recommended in February. From February,
It was not approved by the board. It was a committee
it's been kicked
suggestion.
down, it's been kicked down the thing, and I heard them kick it down several times, and now I've been commissioner almost 60 days, and reading and talking no wake surfing, how about that? And no filling of the ballast, because when you're sitting on Thunderbird concrete outside the swimming pool, and any boat that goes by with a tube behind it with 3 kids or 3 tubes and 9 kids, they sling water up over that concrete thing.
Okay, now you're talking about tubes. We got to be specific about what your motion is. Don't confuse all that stuff. You can't make a motion on tubes and ballast. It's got to be one thing or the other. Be real specific on your motion. And then again, I understand that it seems like we kicked this can down the road a few times, but that's what this is for. It's for you commissioners to get up to date on what the rules are and how you want to vote and how you want to move. And it's been good for Joe. He's changed his mind 3 times.
You're right.
So, and I get that. We all will. So I need to be real clear about what you're...
I think it's, my choice of changing my decision was based upon property owners. And we have to listen to the property owners. And I understand that we're all property owners. But there's a multitude of property owners that feel like that this is quite a detriment to the lake. And so I like the Lake Committee's recommendation policy deal that they presented in February. Obviously, it needs some work, and you may have to have this committee visit the pontoon issue and then come up with something for that, because I don't know.
So can we just, could,
What?
Hold on,
Okay,
hold on.
if we're gonna ban wake boats,
wait, no, not ban the boats.
well, you're banning what they can do.
Okay.
Let's put a horsepower limit on Thunderbird then, 150 horse, no more big boats.
Sounds great. You're going to have a bunch of them leave. I'm one of them. Thrills me.
Just lay.
Why don't we just make it a no-wake lake and we don't have to worry about any of it,
There
right?
you go.
And you're worried about people that live on a license too and wait.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Let's back up. All right.
Susan, go ahead and finish it.
Have you made a motion or not? What are your thoughts?
No.
What do you want to do?
I would like to make a majority vote from the committee, no wake surfing. Would that help? I would like for the damage to stop. Like we have
There
been
are
told,
boats out there
there's,
that can wake surf behind a boat that does not have ballast
Right.
filled with water.
there's a dozen wake boats on the lake, according to Mr. Ishmeal, dozen. 2 of them only use the lake twice a year, maybe. The rest of them promised to stay in that circle that we drew, and they didn't over Memorial Day, the ones that were out there. Some of them didn't, because I saw them. And
We didn't have a policy in place.
no, but Eddie said, I'm going to get with all of them, and we will stay in that 500-foot range. They told,
I was out there, and some of those boats were not wake boats.
go ahead, you talk.
Huh?
You talk, go ahead.
No, some.
I don't care if it's a wake boat or a paddle boat. No wake surfing.
So it's not boat specific,
No.
but the act of wake surfing.
Because like, who just said what size engine it is going to be part of the reason, and how many people are on the boat and the water displacement. So just don't wake surf. I don't want to say a no wake lake, because the John boat makes a wake.
And you're talking about the horsepower regulation. What difference would that make if you only have a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit?
People don't obey that either.
No.
Right, but what I'm saying, you ban the horsepowers, but if you only go 30, wouldn't matter if you have a 500 horse or a 5 horse. you can't go more than 30 miles an hour, right?
Right, but they don't.
So where can we start?
So again, what's your motion?
Let's get a starting place.
You're gonna move something, I've heard. So did you want to continue to do that? Or do you want to continue to put something together or think this through?
No, I don't
Well,
want to continue to put something together. I want to ban wake surfing on Lake
You want to
Thunderbird.
ban the actual act of wake surfing, whether they have ballast water or not.
If you, let's start there. I would like to ban wake surfing on the lake.
That's your motion.
I think so, Tim.
You have the right to move that, for sure. Do I hear a second?
Without specifics on this, so wake surfing, that would be pontoon boats, anything doing
Anything,
that?
anything that makes a wake that you're going to surf behind.
Okay. Based on the property owners, and like I say, the speech we had last time, I second that motion you made.
So to be clear, it's been moved and seconded. You don't want anyone to wake surf behind any boat.
Thank you.
You know what wake
That's,
surfing is?
yes, sir, I learned over Memorial Day,
Okay. So the act of wake surfing,
is what I would like to stop.
okay. You know, it's impossible to wake surf behind a pontoon boat, right?
They do it.
No, they don't.
That's wakeboarding.
That's wakeboarding. See, this is what I mean by we
See,
need to be really
when they-
informed. I'm getting a little frustrated here because I don't think we all know what.
That,
Wakeboarding, you're pulling with the rope. Wake surfing, you're riding the wake
Right.
behind the boat, with nothing pulling.
But their original, it said surfing/boarding, was their original policy change.
We already have a policy that was signed by Mr. Pringer, Mr. Wagner, and Mr. Patterson on 6/11/2018. It says specifically, wake surfing be allowed on Lake Thunderbird only in an area defined in an attached map. Within the area, wake surfing must stay to the center of said area, to the center. And that's key because we see them right on the edge, which is what you saw. And we need them to stay in the center, Eddie. We need your help there.
but they're not.
In a relative straight line. Wake boats cannot make 180-degree turns with a surfer engaged. Wake surfing in the designated area can only be in straight lines. A wake boat cannot have the ballasts or bladders filled in any other part of the lake, something we have witnessed already, and that's in violation of this policy. The designated area will have marked buoys. They are there and they are marked. And I've seen some of the wake boat people following those guidelines, and I have seen some that have not. So we have a policy that is particularly clear in an area that would allow the folks to continue to use their boats very, very cautiously, which is what we've asked Mr. Ishmeal to help us kind of police.
Okay?
But that's not happening.
So your movement, I don't believe was seconded.
Yeah,
I'm hearing
Yeah, I
Joe
seconded it
seconded
based
it.
on this policy, but I'm going to rescind that because it needs to say something besides surfing.
okay. Then I'll take it back.
All right, motion withdrawn. Do we have another motion on the floor?
So we can't keep on doing this.
Again, we
Why
need
don't
a
we
motion
just-
on the floor.
Why don't we
So
just make a motion to cover what the Lake Committee recommended
if you,
for now?
that's the lake
We already
committee.
have a policy.
This policy in place is just not being enforced. And
But
I
we-
think that's what he's saying. So if you move to keep this policy in place and we offer enforcement versus change in policy,
Okay, I have
That's
to
another
say,
thing.
the policy was changed, which was fine.
hey, yeah, please. Can we,
Can't do
wait,
that
you
right.
got your 3 minutes at the end. I apologize, I know.
So I'm just trying to figure out what we can do.
Policy.
It's been online, so it's there. I've got a copy of it right here. But anyway, this is in place. As a commissioner, this has not been followed.
So you're making a motion that we follow what was written in
I'm not going to make a
2018?
motion because I'm the chair. So one of you has to make a motion. My suggestion is that this be enforced. We're just not enforcing it. And then maybe a copy needs to be filled out, initialed by every boat owner when they pick up a boat sticker saying, I will follow these rules.
And how about the 611 stickers we've already sold?
Yeah, again, you mentioned it would be for 2023 anyway, so. it would
You
be-
couldn't do it today. I mean, I guess you can do anything you want.
Absolutely.
But you could say it's over with right now. But is that policy sufficient? And why didn't this lake committee read that policy and say, by golly, let's just go with that?
Yeah.
Why did they develop this new one? I mean, it's just redundant. And then to say that, well, they're going to follow the policy, we're going to have to enforce it. How are we going to enforce it? We can't enforce little bitty things.
On lake safety, I mean, that's.
Much
the
less
idea.
a big issue like that. And they're probably, if you pull them over, are going to stick their tongue out at you and say, screw you, and move on to something else. They're not going to listen.
No. That's a different,
No, it's true. It's not.
that's a different animal. That's a different animal. Listen,
Okay, so-
let's get on with this.
Ron, make a
You're-
motion that we do that, or enforce that.
All right, let's move and
I make a motion, we follow the said procedures in place already.
Be more specific with that letter. I mean, to the,
The procedures that are in policy already, not being enforced.
You wanna read it?
6/11/2018, which is this right here.
Read it, Ron.
I just
read
read
it.
it a minute
Let's-
ago.
Oh, okay.
So, do I need to read it again? If I
It'd be more official if you'd read it in an official capacity, so.
Mr. Schmiegel has made a motion that says wake surfing be allowed on Lake Thunderbird only in the areas outlined on an attached map, which we can certainly put on the website and we can certainly give it to people. Within the area, wake surfing must stay to the center of said area and wake surf in a relatively straight line. Wake boats cannot make 180-degree turns with a surfer engaged. Wake surfing in the designated area can only be in a straight line. A wake boat cannot have the ballasts or bladders filled in any other part of the lake other than the outlined area. The designated area will have marked buoys at each end to denote where the area begins and ends.
Thank you.
thank you.
and I'd be happy to second that motion.
You're kidding me.
You know, really,
I
I'm
mean-
not trying to be a smart aleck, but let's just keep our personal comments there, okay?
You got that. All right.
And to
It's
the,
been
to the
moved and
lady,
seconded,
I'll give
correct?
you this in a few minutes. You.
So the motion on the floor has been moved and seconded. Time to vote. Mr. Nebel, do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. I also vote aye.
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 Well, it is
Carries.
a unanimous decision. All right.
We'll see how this works out.
Yeah. Eddie, do let them know we will be watching. Thank you.
Should we even move on to the next one?
Sure, let's move
All
on.
right. The irrigation loan is something that we're working through, not something that we're, unless anybody has any comments about the irrigation loan.
I'd like to make one comment about the irrigation loan.
Yes, ma'am.
Currently at the North Golf Course, our pump station is out. We have been without a pump station for over 2 weeks. We still owe money on the irrigation system, and now we're having to look at doing something more up to date and spending more money.
Wow.
I'm waiting on some pricing to come in. I've talked to 2 different places. Rainbird is offering some specials, some stuff to do with our John Deere contract comes with some of those Rainbird specials, but we still haven't paid for the last system, and now we're talking about spending a whole bunch more to do it again, and we can't keep the course up without the pump.
Amen.
They're manually doing it, we're working them to death.
Wow.
It's hot out there.
Okay.
The courses are showing. The fairways are dry.
And you've got quotes coming?
I've got quotes coming, but it's long days to try to get them in here.
Sure.
I
Okay.
think we've come up with a little module that we can can bypass and make it a little easier for them to water. But who knows how long it'll last. Once the pressure gets up, you gotta turn it back off. So they get a little bit watered and then they gotta stop. They get a little bit done, they gotta
Right.
stop. So just something to keep in mind.
Okay. HR policies, I know I reviewed that last round. Did we vote on that last time? Did we vote on this to approve that? Did everybody review that?
Yes,
Were there some
and I,
changes?
well, not to speak of.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
I
going
went
on
through
online,
it
so I didn't see
and
it.
forgot to make copies for all y'all, but I went through it and just changed some of the names that are in it, made sure that the employees don't go beyond their supervisor and the general manager, don't go out gossiping your issues, no internal meh, 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 meh. And just some little things like that, and no swapping your sick time or no swapping your, just put some of
I
that
think those are
in
some of the
there.
changes you
Yeah,
already made.
yeah. And,
That's the idea.
and so the only changes that really need to be made are changing the people's names that are in the document.
Okay.
That's us instead of the people that were, and then some of the employees may have changed.
All right, have you guys reviewed that by any chance?
No.
Okay,
Okay, it's real straightforward.
yeah.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
make sure we do it. Let's get it off the table next month. And
I would suggest if y'all would take what I gave you that was printed and maybe
Yeah.
mark through it and
Yeah.
make your notes, that would make it to where we can go paragraph by paragraph and
Yeah.
compare.
And
Okay.
yeah.
Approval to sell land to RDOT for the highway changes at Papoose Park. That's
Okay,
finished,
so-
right?
So that was something that I had to add into the agenda tonight because RDOT is saying that us signing the contract and not having any conversation openly in the meeting for y'all to vote on is what's keeping them from being able to move forward with their paperwork. So
Okay.
basically, the motion needs to be made to sell that small part of the land to them.
I would entertain a motion to approve that sale.
I make a motion we approve the sale, what was it, 4 trees at Papoose Park?
Yeah.
And I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy. Okay, GM update, you've got some updates for us.
And I hope this is all right with how I set this up. I kind of feel like I keep jumping in each time y'all have a topic, and it'd be easier if I just went down it and then be done.
Rock and roll.
All right, Joe Totta from Mid America Pool Renovation visited us this week. I had previously provided y'all with his quote for the renovation. That did not include the decking, the plumbing, or the equipment. He's come back, he's done the research on it. I'm waiting on him to send me some more proposals to include with those. He has hinted that we're probably looking at doubling his original proposal, which I believe was 300 and something thousand, to do the other items. He has some ideas he said he would start with. We can pare back from there. I also took him to Thunderbird. I figured while I have him, we know Thunderbird has issues coming. Maybe we can fix those in the fall before we have to shut the place down and not have it for a summer. So he will be sending prices for those as well, but Omaha is his priority. We talked about roofs. Well, anybody have questions about that?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, we talked about roofs the last time I was here. I had already submitted my claims to the Municipal Insurance Company. I had 3 that they did not have looked at. Out of the other 7 that they did, we got $203,000. I know that's not going to fix one of the big ones, but it would take care of some of the smaller ones. We were able to get the beach replaced at Gitchegumbee Beach at the bathhouse. Cedar Valley, I have the check for the half-down deposit tonight for y'all to sign, and that will start this week. Same as Thunderbird Lower Building. And the reason that I chose both of those is that once the roof is completely replaced, there is some depreciation we can go back and get. But like the Omaha Center, they did the entire building. So unless we spent $500,000 and did all 4 sections, we won't get that extra depreciation. We need to concentrate on the auditorium there. That's where our issue is. So that's why I started with these smaller ones, that we can get the money back on quickly. The golf courses will be next. Pro shops, cart sheds at both places. And I'm just waiting on their prices from the roofer for that so we can compare. Any questions on the roofs?
No, ma'am.
There was a question brought up by Ron about color, if we went with a shingle. I did speak to the roofers, they gave me some shingle samples. What we should go back with is what they started with, which was that kind of browny color. And of course, newer, it looks a whole lot better than it does 50 years faded. But those are easy shingles they can get. They're 25-year shingles. And so I said, that would be, I thought, the best way to go. Just to have some kind of standard that we don't have all different kind of colors. Escalante Park, the power has been turned on. We turned it over for them to do the tree trimming that we had spoken of when we did the inspection out there, Dave. They said they would take care of that part. I have not done anything with the water. Getting the roof patched on the back will be the next thing. In-house, we can do that. Mr. George said he could put those shingles up there. We could do that repair, not a big deal. We walked off the area that is needed for the playground that is being donated to us. It's going to be around $30,000 is what the donation will come in as, because she wants to add a swing set to it. It is ADA approved. We're going to have to do some prep on the ground for leveling and some material that will meet the requirements. And once I get that price, I'm going to come back to y'all to see if Sid is willing to pay for that. That would be over and above what she's volunteered to donate. Any questions there? Gitchegumbee Beach, future repairs of the parking lot. That lower parking lot, it stinks, it really does. I bought 20 tons of coal patch from Atlas. We got 10 dropped at south, 10 dropped at north for our cart paths. They're supposed to go out and give me a price for Gitchegumbee. I hadn't seen it yet. I'll follow up this week. E, settlement terminology. I have not heard back from Grant. I've reached out a couple of times because we had spoke about him possibly Zooming some of our meetings. I'm not sure if he's on vacation or what's going on, but he has not replied back. So.
Okay, Betsy, I've reread that a couple times now. The inference in our previous meeting was that, the words weren't correct in there. I look back at it, it's very, very clear to me, and everyone else that I've talked to says it's very understandable.
Do we overthink it?
If somebody wants to sue us, no, it's attorney speak, and it's very clear. It even shows an example of how it works.
Right.
In my estimation, and I believe we should vote on this and remove it from our agenda. If somebody wants to sue us over some kind of weird thought that they have by reading it, then let them on. But I don't think it's something that needs to be changed, and we're already overspending on our attorney anyway.
Right.
So I would entertain a motion to leave this alone.
I'll make the motion that we just leave it alone and move forward.
Second that.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. The next one, F, it says Thunderbird and the beach both open on the 27th. We've got extended hours, Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are noon to 7. It's been well over there. I visited myself on the weekend. It's great to hear the laughter of the kids. Parents are with their kids. They're not just dropping them off. For the majority, everyone's following the rules, and it seemed to be a great atmosphere. Lots of little kids. It was nice. I think that's a great thing. I've read a few complaints about the beach. I think some of that was going on after 7 o'clock when we lock up the beach house, that maybe there was some drinking and stuff going on. Hopefully, we're working with the neighbors. We're going to find out what's going on, and we'll do that. But it's been quiet since that one post.
Don't we have signs there that say no alcoholic beverages on the premises?
No pets, no smoking, no alcohol.
Just like no wake outside the 500-foot mark.
Okay. What
Thank
else you
you.
got?
Omaha Fitness Center and Auditorium. We have hired a young lady. She started today. The hours there have gone through Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Friday is 7 to 4:30, and Saturday is 8 to 5. Sunday is the only day that we're closed. That young lady will go back to school in August, so we'll see how this works, and if it goes well, we can maybe find someone then to carry on until it starts getting dark again early.
Okay.
And hopefully that will give everybody a great chance. The final thing I wanted to report was that the Kevin King tournament was held on June 4th. It was a huge turnout. They rented the course for a day, including our cart rentals. We made $2,035. We're discussing now a property owner tournament for September and a VIP tournament that I think Mr. Keeler is going to tell us about for October. And that's all I have to tell about.
Okay. Financials?
Financials, I put in everybody's packet. I posted them online today. I made some notes on the first 2 pages. You'll see those kind of tell you anything on expense side that would have been out of budget, and it gives your explanation as to why it's out of budget. The second page just gives you a note on what our prepays have been on our assessment. So we're up to $92,000.
Anything weird
No.
on the expense
No.
lines?
We didn't have the audit for 2020 budgeted. That put us over in general. Gas is up. We knew that. We're not using the pump at Base Heart for the maintenance department, so they're going to the courses and getting gas when they need it.
Any financials questions? From any of them?
They're all posted online. If anybody has any questions anytime, please feel free to contact the office. We'll be glad to go through them with you and answer any questions.
The Waterworks hearing is set for August?
Does it say August?
It says August.
It says August.
And so they're pursuing.
So, in August is supposed to be some conversation that has now been pushed to February if they couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
February?
Okay.
February of next year.
It's gonna get pushed again, I'm sure, but so they're, from your conversations with our attorney, they're coming. They want their money.
I think there's some negotiation that's gonna happen.
Okay.
Just from what I'm hearing, and I don't want to say too much.
Okay. Yeah, that's, guest cards, limits, who can request? Boy, this is a big topic, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, guest cards. I brought a note today, I'm not gonna share anybody's names. 46 requests, 46 guest cards that they've requested.
Okay, can you give me some
For their
scenarios
family.
on how, does anybody have any questions about, because I'm lost, I was gone for a month, so I'm trying to get caught back up. Can you give me some scenarios on what people are asking for? Are they just coming in the office saying, I want 8?
Well, I will tell you that I think for the most part that most people know what the guest card is. And they come in and say, hey, my grandkids or my family's coming and here's the names and I need these guest cards. And it's pretty simple and cut and dry. Our Airbnbs, our rental houses, during the summertime, every week we're getting lists. And the sad part is that they come in and request them and sometimes even pay for the items, a boat sticker or a kayak sticker, and they're still sitting on the countertop at the office weeks later that have never come and picked them up. We've thrown more away that have expired than are getting picked up, which is just a waste of our time. It's crazy. We had one day we did 80 cards just in one day. I think that from talking to the girls in the office, we talked about the hard cards, that all of the property owners and the dependents in their households would have hard cards. And so that would mean that they would never come and ask for a guest card. Grandchildren under the age of 18, I think the rules has been different and been changed, and that's something I think we should look at when the grandkids come. Maybe they stay for more than a couple of weeks. Maybe they stay for the summer. They don't live in the house full time, but they come here for the summers. I know my mom did that for her grandkids when we were little. We also have adults in the household that are not on the deed. And then specifically, in one situation, it was a person that's disabled or handicapped. They're a dependent, even though they're an adult. And that's really not something we have a policy in. We've also talked about, should there be a charge for a guest card for Airbnbs, for rental properties? That's a charge they can pass on to the people who are renting. And maybe if they had to pay for it, they'd actually show up and get the cards. I don't know, but there needs to be some...
We need to review the policy.
Yes, we need to review that policy.
So I guess one of the questions I have is, so So people are requesting cards. Are they requesting cards because they don't want to accompany their family to these amenities? Is that the deal?
In my personal opinion, the people that are abusing the card situation are people that have friends and family in Hardy, Ash Flat, and other areas that aren't property owners, and that just gives them access for them to use our pools and not pay one dime of an assessment like the property owners have to pay. That's my opinion. If I'm
Okay.
paying my assessment, and I do, then I think anybody else who gets a card to go to the same pool I'm going to all summer long shouldn't be able to do it for $45 or for $3.50.
So again, what you're saying is somebody is coming to the SID office with a property owner card and saying, hey, I need 3 guest passes for whatever time frame, and then they're like for anyone, and they just give them out.
So like, here's the list, and I can tell you, and I'm not going to tell you who this list is from. But we know people who live here in Highland that own businesses whose names are on this list, and they want them to have a guest card for the whole summer. We had a lady that came in last week and asked for 30 blank guest cards. And says she gets them every year. And was upset, threw our cards on the counter, left huffed and puffed, all upset because we would not give her 30
What was her
blank
explanation
cards.
for wanting 30?
She said, my family comes and visits, they bring friends with them, I don't know what their names are, because we said, well, here, write down the names, and we'll make the cards. Well, I don't know what the names are. I just want 30 blank cards because that's what I always get.
And again, they don't want to accompany, they want to give them out.
We have a few, I'm sure people have seen this on social media, where their idea is, oh, just send them every 14 days and ask for the same cards over and over again. What is that doing?
Well, I think people need to realize we've got new commissioners and we're going to start following the rules. That's what they need
Yay,
to know.
I'm glad to hear that.
So what are the current rules?
Well, currently, our guest cards are still the hard cards. That's what we've been given. If somebody comes into our office, and we give them to whoever's on the deed and the dependents. So it might be more than 2 people.
Okay, so there could be, there's
The
a,
hard card. Property
hard
owner
card,
card
yeah.
is your hard card, and it's good
The
until
whole-
you're
the
no
whole
longer a
year.
property owner. You don't have to get a new one every year.
Okay.
That's it. It has your property owner number on it. The guest cards are 12 days. Passes for property owners for the pool ends the end of September, which is right after Labor Day or the end of that month. That's all we've had. 12-day guest cards, swim passes for the whole summer, we sell those, and then the property owner cards.
Maybe we need to set up a committee amongst us to review the policy.
Well, do you want you and I to review the policy and come up with a suggestion for July?
Sure.
How about David Nebel and I do that?
yeah, I
Okay.
would love to see.
So, I mean, I know that won't
policy.
help for the 4th of July, but I say, well,
I know.
but we've already established the fact and irritated a lot of people that the new commissioners are beginning to follow the rules. So sorry if you've gotten away with it for 30 years. Sorry. And it's tough on the people in the office. I mean, I hear some of them.
Yeah.
And people that have gotten away with it for 30 years are not happy either, but you know, it's,
Yeah, it's a hard one. I
It's
mean,
di-
I don't understand. I personally, if I have guests and I want them to go to the pool, I'm gonna go with them.
there you go.
Right.
You know, so my card should get whoever is with me into that amenity.
But, yeah,
That's how it works.
And
So,
that's something else we'd like to make clear.
So they don't
that
need
if
guest
the property
cards.
owner's with you and they are your guests, you won't need a card.
that's right.
If you're out in the boat with them and they're riding in your boat and you have stickers on your boat, then your guest doesn't need a card to ride in your boat with the property owner. But if you're a guest in the village, like say through an Airbnb, then the property owner sends us the email and requests the cards, and then the people who are renting can request the 14-day sticker for the temporary boat sticker, and they provide us with the documentation to get that.
Yeah, I think you're just gonna always have those one-offs where you're gonna have grandma and grandpa that are gonna watch their 7-year-old grandson throughout the summer.
and that's one of the things that we can address. I don't think it's going to be a big issue because
Yeah.
there's not a lot of that, but it's these property owners that have an inside lot and they call for guest passes for friends.
Yeah,
46 people. I mean, our pool capacity is 50.
sure.
I said, you can't have 46 passes.
Okay.
Okay.
So July.
David and I will come up.
July,
I'll work with you on that. too.
Okay, then we'll get together and do that.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay. Golf committee suggestions, we have somebody that has.
Let me give him a working microphone because he doesn't.
Okay.
Mr. Keeler? And would you, here's a, hold it like this.
All right. A couple of months ago at our golf committee meeting, I made the suggestion that we need to provide something attractive to get afternoon play on our golf courses. Having worked at the golf course back in the 90s into the next century, I'm aware of the kind of afternoon activity on the golf courses, and it's less now than it was then, and then it was almost nil. So less means it's practically nil. And we need something that is attractive, and having lived in other places and traveled some, I know that a lot of golf courses have what they call a twilight fee. And that fee is usually very attractive because it's very much less than the actual fee if you would go in the morning and play. For example, some places charge $150 for a golf fee, but if you pay the twilight fee, you can play for $25 now. A lot of people ain't going to pay $150, they're going to pay the twilight fee because of the cost. The cost is a big deal. And so my suggestion to the committee was that here at Cherokee Village, we have a twilight fee starting at 3 o'clock, 7 days a week, half price across the board. That means fees and cart fees, half price, from 3 o'clock on. There was a little discussion concerning, well, that might create some issues on the weekends. No, it will not. Our play is so little after 3 o'clock, 7 days a week, that anything we can do to attract play is a plus. And the committee was unanimous in agreement about it, and so we present it to you. I leave it with you. The second thing is we're planning the property owners tournament for October the 8th. It will be a 4-person scramble. It will cost $40 per player and $5 per player for a cart. And that money will go mostly towards the improvement of the golf courses, which it always does. And that's pretty much set as far as the date. I have one other thing I would like to bring up, and it's just a personal thing. Basically, I played the South Course yesterday. It was the first time I played it in a while. But in playing the course, I was very aware that there was no water to drink on the golf course. We used to have a fountain at the halfway restroom on each 9, and it was cold water fountain, and that was very attractive and very nice to have. We used to have one at the cart shed on the corner when you make the turn to go to the other 9. That one's no longer there. My suggestion is that we provide some kind of cold water thing for the people that are playing, especially for our people that come in who are guests and don't bring drinks with them and so forth. Even if it's just a cooler with ice water and paper cups, that's a plus, as opposed to not having any cold water available at all, especially now with the summer hours coming on and so forth. And that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that.
I don't know, but I agree.
Do you have does anyone have a motion they want to make on behalf of that?
Can we?
I'll make a motion that says that we're gonna have a twilight fee, which is half price, after 3 o'clock, 7 days a week for both the north and the south golf courses.
I would like some discussion on this.
I would like some discussion on this.
All right.
How late are the courses open till? 7? 6?
Carts are due in at 7:30. If you're a
Okay.
property owner, you pretty much can play
Right.
until you come in the dark. But
Okay.
carts are due in at 7:30.
Now, this is at both courses? Okay.
I might add that it was discussed, the cart thing, as far as them being out too late. The person in the shop is free to set a time that the carts must be in, and they're also given the authority to go out and get them if they don't come in by that time.
Right.
Okay. Further discussion?
I think that does it.
Should there be a time limit of how long we're gonna do the twilight golf, or is that just gonna be?
How about till the time change?
Well, I mean, obviously the time change is gonna, you know, you can't play 3
To see how
o'clock
much
to
it
4:30.
increases usage and funds. My discussion was, can we afford to do half price on the carts because of the cost of operating the carts?
Well, they wouldn't be making any money sitting there, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, and if you look at our pricing are set up as green fees. The carts are not separate
Separate.
prices.
Right.
Oh,
The
yeah.
prices are
Oh,
included.
they're in there? Yeah.
Okay.
The only time that would really take play is if they own their own cart. No,
Right.
no, yeah, it'd be fine.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
a proponent. I mean, I personally, when I looked at, I did a little bit of, because the golf committee, we actually moved on a motion to increase our fees from 35 to 45, I think, for property owners.
Right.
But, you know, if you call, the closest golf course we have to us, which is Turkey Mountain, they're $35 for 18 holes for a non-property owner, and they're a SID as well. So I didn't check the others.
I think they
around
charge extra for the
somewhere.
cart
Yeah,
though.
they
It was
Yeah, they-
two separate
And that's
fees.
$35 for cart.
Well, I think we've had this discussion. I can go
Yeah,
back
we
and
got
look in the
this.
minutes. I think
So
we've already.
I believe that our golf courses are in better shape than theirs.
Yes.
And I don't like their layout much, and I mean, it's a nice golf course, but I believe we have, in better shape, but they have a lot more play than we do. A lot more play. They have 25 tournaments a year. So they do get a lot of play from around this area. I would definitely be in favor. If there's a motion on the floor,
I second it.
you second it, moved and seconded to twilight, 3 o'clock on, 7 days a week, half price, both.
And it expires on the Saturday night that, or the Sunday morning that time changes.
I'm guessing people won't come out at 3 to
Yeah.
play.
But let's put an end cap on it, but yes,
Okay.
yes.
It's been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Betsy, you'll post that, I guess?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Tweet.
do have one other comment. I
Thank
see
you.
that we have Mr. Jim Branch here, who's the new deputy, so to speak, for the golf course committee. And I also thought that
Use your
Mr. Joey
microphone.
Duro was part of that group as well. And that didn't seem to make it in the minutes, or for some reason, I didn't see anything that addressed that. And he was looking at me after Raul was said and done and thought that he was going to be part of that every time he could. So could we add him to that team to make him?
Is that a
your
SID
assistant,
function?
or- I mean, that's 2 assistants to Mr. Dewey, so.
So are you,
yeah, I think that Mr. Branch is the co-chair to Mr. Dewey.
I have no objections to,
Yeah, I'd like to have, because he had a lot of good ideas, Jim, and
Okay.
could that,
he offered his help to me in any way he could, and he seemed satisfied with that.
Okay, anything else before we go into property owner comments?
Can I make a comment about the fountains? That was brought up in the golf committee.
Oh, yes.
And I did ride the cart path, and, you know, it was said that the fountains were gone because of COVID. But that's why the water fountains were taken out. And I spoke to Ralph. I think there's some plumbing issues with one of the fountains at the south course. And at the north course, the fountain is already working down on 14. I think we either put them back and make them operational, or we take them all out and say we don't have them for COVID. There is water available to purchase in the pro shops. It's also in the machines at the halfway houses, but it doesn't offer a free water. So, you know, that would.
It's a nice courtesy when a golf course has water for the players. That's just a nice thing.
It is, it just has to constantly be monitored, and I know what you mean. I mean, it is nice though, for sure.
so is that something Betsy can do, is make those water fountains come back out of hiding and be
Should
reinstalled?
we do that?
Can we do that?
COVID?
Yeah, you know,
Make it happen.
So we should do that and not worry with COVID?
no, I mean, I'm not concerned about that anymore. The question is, you're talking about fountains that are working off plumbing, and they're just fountains, right? They're just-
Right.
People put them out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would rather do that than put
Yeah.
ice in
Yeah,
coolers and have to
that'd be hard.
constantly refill that, and the
Okay,
cups.
we'll look at the fountains. Halfway house and the cart shed.
Okay. Property owner comments. There's not.
Who's got a working microphone?
I have Eddie's got it.
Eddie's got it, did you?
Did you take off with it, Eddie?
Eddie's got it. You guys want to line up right here if you want to speak?
Did you get one?
A
Susan?
microphone?
Can use this one, I guess.
Just to be fair to everyone,
We're starting back up.
working?
just to be
Right now.
Stand right here?
The camera's behind you.
Here, because the camera gets the back of your head. Work.
There you go.
All right. Hey, just to be fair to everyone, it's a 3-minute.
Yes.
Everyone has 3 minutes. If you will kindly keep it to that 3 minutes.
Because we got somebody with a timer.
Yes, sir.
Can we get an update on the dock situation?
Miss Betsy,
I
any
have no-
updates on Mr. Parker and his
I
lack
do not
of?
have an update today. I do not.
Okay, I apologize.
Good
Nothing to
question,
update.
though.
Yeah.
We work on it every day. I know that doesn't make you happy, but we do work on it every day.
Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes, I'm here just to speak to the committee. I did not know if you guys were aware of a situation that happened on Thursday.
Who are you?
Your name is?
Your name and...
Amy Clay Thomas.
Okay.
There was a situation that happened on Thursday where Miss Betsy had an issue with some juveniles that were on the lake. Those juveniles have been banned since, and I was just trying to get an update on that. Are you guys aware of the situation?
Yeah, we're aware.
Okay.
Is
I'm
everyone aware
not.
of the situation?
He was on vacation.
I've been gone for a month. So
Yeah,
I
but you
need
got
to-
you got
I
a
need to-
1,000 pictures of it.
So we will be adjourning to executive session after this, and to talk about policy and that kind of thing. So please tell me what you know, if you have something. Did you want to share what happened, or do you know from?
Yes, I do. So, well, I mean,
She wasn't there.
Okay,
I did watch the police video actually.
okay.
They were falsely imprisoned.
Falsely imprisoned.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you come about that? Because they were breaking rules, marine rules that are stated in a book. They were out there speeding first off, going over 30 miles an hour. Yes, they were. I have seen them. I have seen them.
radar them?
The flat bottom.
go that
David.
Okay, anyway,
That's why I know.
they are banned. That's it. Period, the end. They are banned.
For what? I was just in your guidelines, it says that you have the ability to, you can call law enforcement, or you can call Game and Fish, and they will have someone arrested. But
You
as,
don't have to issue stickers to the boat again.
Yes,
And
but
you can
SID
be arrested for trespass.
but you do
That's
not,
how that goes.
you do not have the ability to hold people, because you are not law enforcement.
We'll call DNR and the sheriff then. That's how we settle that.
I called the police.
Is that,
I called the police.
Well, Betsy called the police.
I called the police.
Okay.
Everybody was held.
We're not gonna put up with these antics out here anymore.
well, I think we have two separate issues here.
Yeah.
We have voters, and then we have or whatever she's saying that.
Yes, it's just an issue because the juvenile lives on the lake, and so the fact that they're banned, and there really wasn't a reason for the banning, there's no proof. They have license, they have stickers. The boat only goes 30 miles per hour. It says that you have to be 15 to drive a boat. They're of age, so, you know.
Arkansas law is 15?
16.
I think.
And they have to have a safety course.
And they have to
In
have,
your rules,
Your rules online.
yes.
This right here says a person 12 through 15 years of age must have a person at least 18 years of age on board who must satisfy the boating education requirement if born on or after January 1st, 1986, and be in a position to take immediate control of the P.E.G, which is a watercraft. A person 16 years of age or older must satisfy the boating education requirement.
yes, I see that some of you are aware of the situation and feel the way that you feel, but I just wanted to make sure that all of you were aware of the situation.
Okay.
And that it was, if I have to say, it was not professional conduct on you guys' sides.
Do you have is there some video of this?
Yes, there is, but it involves minors, so. I'm not sure how you'll be able to view that.
So they
We
were,
can-
they
we
were
can-
banned for what activity? Explain it to me in general. I don't, I guess I'm in the dark. I was out of town too,
Okay,
so.
as far as I know, they were on the lake and they were trying to get off of the lake. and
No,
it
they
was-
were racing, they were out there racing.
don't know if they were racing.
I
So
see.
there have been claims that they're
Okay.
racing, there's no video of this, I've seen no proof of why they're banned, because they claim they're racing, however, the boats do not go over 30 miles per hour.
We can talk about it in executive
They're out
session.
there doing donuts and all sorts of crazy thing out there on the lake. I've seen them more than once.
Yeah, so these are previous occasions that people are claiming that they saw these individuals doing on previous times.
So,
And so
okay.
they got these children and he falsely imprisoned them.
I have a question. When the police called the parents, how come the parents didn't show up?
The parents weren't required to be there, the children did nothing wrong. The police officer said that the
We're not going
children
anywhere.
are the
Is there-
victims.
Okay.
Is there a police report?
Not
Right
yet.
now, they're banned.
Okay,
The
let's,
police report is being worked on.
Already
Okay.
over 3 minutes, you reckon?
let's,
Her 3 minutes is way
We'll
up.
talk about
let's
it.
gather up all the information and we'll get whatever videos are
Because
available to
you've got
us.
several.
And get the police report and kind of
I
piece
hear
this
it
whole
every
thing
day
together.
from something.
Thank you very much.
Figure out what's going on. I
Thank you,
appreciate
ma'am.
it.
Yes, sir, I
So as it
appreciate it.
stands now, these kids are banned from SID property.
And who is he?
I don't even know what that means to be
Who are
banned
you?
from an SID
We don't
property.
either.
I've never banned anyone from anything, so I
Yes,
don't
that is what
know.
I'm saying,
I don't-
is this woman has banned multiple individuals and their property. She
So
banned
I'm-
3 boats, and she banned 5 children from the lake, who live on said
Irresponsible
lake.
children.
All right, let me talk through
Can I
that.
see your abandoned?
That's a policy issue.
And there's no proof.
That's an
Okay.
HR sort of thing. Let's work on, let me talk about that in our executive session as well.
Yes,
Well, that's-
there is no
If
proof.
they go swimming, she's gonna have an arrest on them.
Yes, she did.
That is not true. I'd like to see that on video. That is not true.
That's what the
That's-
ordinance
And
is.
We had
who is the guy in the
we had
black shirt?
one minor in a boat, and your 13-year-old, and we had 2
Oh,
20-year-olds.
Monroe.
Neither of the 20-year-olds are property owners, or did they have stickers on their boats. One of them had been previously talked to about it and was told he had just bought the boat that day, he was just testing it out. And then we called him out there again 2 weeks later with your son and another gentleman. I will say, he was extremely polite and very respectful, but the 20-year-old was.
And you're saying my son wasn't?
I didn't say that,
You
ma'am.
didn't
I
have that
said,
in.
pardon?
You didn't say the other kids were very polite and respectful.
I think it's past the 3 minutes.
I'm looking for my.
Rotate people.
Yeah, next.
Okay. Let's gather all the information we have. Do you have any more information that you can give to us?
I have video, I have pictures, I have written statements and complaints of people who live on the lake. I had a conversation with Miss Monroe.
You have a video from a lake owner from?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
how it got started.
That's how it started.
And calls and pictures. And about 10 days prior to the incident, I had a call with Miss Monroe. As one parent to another, we were concerned about these kids. Everyone in here surely saw the post on Facebook. We didn't know who they were. We were concerned. We had pulled a 35-foot log out of the lake in the middle of the day, and anyone in a john boat to hit a log like that at night, at dusk or dark, would be a horrific accident. I hope that by having a call with a parent, that would have settled the problem. I even removed the post off Facebook because the purpose was to get the parents' attention. And once I had the conversation, I thought that was settled and that the parents had attention.
Walk the boat around and
Well, I
So are we
didn't let your
back?
son out of the lake after dark to race.
Are the kids banned from the lake?
Okay, I would,
That's
We
I would
will have
suggest,
an executive session.
I would suggest as of right now,
3 minutes, 3 minutes.
I would suggest, give me a second, hang on. I would suggest we just,
Please,
let's review this
everybody.
in executive session, and we'll get back to you. As of this very second, my suggestion would be that, I don't even know what a ban looks like, or if there's a policy that says we can ban somebody for that. So we need to look into that and see if that's even possible.
I'd like to ask just a real benign question. What kind of watercraft is it? What kind of boat? And what is the horsepower that's on it?
And so the War Eagle duck boat with the.
What's the length of the boat?
16, I think.
16-foot aluminum, and what's the horsepower?
25 horse, you know,
25 Yamaha, okay.
Okay,
What the policy said was that if the rules were not abided, the privileges could be revoked.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
The
So
question is,
banning and privilege revoked, I would say would be the same term.
yeah, I think the question, I don't know if this is right or not, but I think the question is that something that this board needs to be voting on? I don't know the answer to that question. Based on all the criteria, everything that has come up, I don't know.
Is it one
And
vote
when
or
we
two?
left the
It's
vote
two.
doc, the conversation that was said with the other two gentlemen who were not property owners, were adults, did not have stickers on their boats, they were not to come back, and
Okay.
what was said for the Monroes was that Sid would be contacting them to discuss this further, and that's
Okay.
how it was left.
Okay, so my understanding then is there's no ban in place. We're going to discuss this and figure out what our rules are and what we can do and can't do, and whether we should be voting on stuff like that. A ban is pretty strict. I
Well,
would
it's
think.
same as revoked.
I mean, swimming in the
Revoked
pool is
privileges.
different than boating on the water, so I
Oh,
mean,
nothing was said about any of the other, it was just the boat in the water.
Okay.
That doesn't mean they can't go to the pool.
Let's move on.
okay. Okay. Are you guys all good? You guys are done right now? You guys finished? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hope it's not talking loud.
Jackie Glidden.
Turn it off, turn it
Yeah,
off. back
well, it might have timed out.
Come on.
Was that
Oh,
on?
no, green light.
I can yell. I'm really loud. That's okay.
I can.
How many kids at home?
I have 4.
There you go.
And 4 grandkids, so I'm good. So, no, I'm a property owner. I've been a property owner for 9 years.
And who are you? Who are
This
you?
is a new administration. Awesome. I'm happy about it. Previous administration, Jackie Glidden, 13 Yosemite. We've asked for the rules. We've asked to be on the rules. When the rules, I do not have, just for the record, I do not have a wake boat. I don't. I don't have a problem with wake boats, but I don't have one. But when they changed the rules and they said it was between this buoy and this buoy and they were marked with some red duct tape or whatever it was, that's great. How come nobody informed any of the owners until they got pulled over by SID and said, hey, this is the rule? I tried to get on with, what's his name, Webb?
David.
Last name of Webb. We tried to, hey, I want to be a part of the, informed by the SID. Never got information. Send them our email addresses. Never got information. We don't even know the dates of these SID meetings until the day before when somebody happens to be driving past my dock going, hey, are you going to the SID meeting tomorrow? I'm like, I knew nothing about it. What time is it?
That could have been me that was yelling at that.
I wasn't going to point you out.
I know, well, it
I
was my
am
group.
this way. But you know what I'm saying? I don't even know of these meetings. And where can I go to be informed? That's my
Online.
Go,
Where?
cdsid.org, and if
Okay.
you go to the what's happening, it'll give
So
you
when
a-
things change overnight,
like,
how do I
like for meeting dates, when you say things change overnight, like policies, you would only,
Rules on the
you would
lake.
only know that about things that would happen that were voted on in the meeting and then minutes of the meeting. They are also on that same website. Minutes of the meeting, agendas for upcoming monthly financials, a calendar of upcoming events. Our monthly meetings are the same day every month,
so
third
there's nothing
Monday.
that goes out on a regular basis to our
No.
members. You log in and you go to this website, and if they had an SID meeting that I knew nothing about and rules changed, it's my responsibility. I understand that. It's my responsibility to look it up, but it's really tough when you don't have the information.
I agree. We do post some stuff on Facebook, just try to kind of keep things rolling, but we understand.
Not everybody has a
everybody's on
Facebook. My kids have Facebook.
I
Right.
agree. I
All
agree.
right, thank you, Jackie.
thank you, Mr. What is Jackie's
Yes,
last
Mr.
name?
Steve.
I don't think, I speak loud enough, I don't think anybody needs to have me on the microphone. I've got a couple of comments,
Except that some of us are hard of hearing.
Yeah.
the back when you're facing that way, probably.
So, there's a number of issues that have been discussed in the
Did you set the
public.
timer?
And some of those issues I've tried to share with some of the commissioners. So I'm going to try to focus on very concise issues. And this is a time for public comment. So I, would hope that, let me make my comments and then I can engage any of the commissioners that want to, comment about it. But first, on the issue of boat tags. Everybody knows about boat tags and that they get issued. They have in the past been issued throughout the year. And there have been other ways in which the public could obtain boat tags, particularly if they lived out of town, and they showed up on the first holiday weekend. And there were tags available either from an SID employee, whether it was lake safety or whether it was, and for the record, I bought my tag in January. I go get my tag for my golf cart at the same time. But there are people that pull their boats out of storage and they don't see their boats until maybe late April or May. And so we've had a history of more of an Andy, if you will, versus a Barney, for those that watch Mayberry RFD. And it's been, hey, by the way, Bob, you might want to go get your tag next week. But when we had Memorial Day weekend, we went from lax enforcement to zero tolerance. And so we had people that came from out of town. I had a client that came from Memphis, took his boat out of storage, got up here after fighting traffic with all the construction coming across 63, and didn't get up here until 8 o'clock. Put his boat on the ramp, wife drove it over to the lake property that they own. He brought his whole family entourage, treated him to breakfast at Lakeview, went down to the SID office, which is now moved, the old SID office. Nobody there, inquired with King Roads, and they said, well, the SID office moved to Omaha Center. He said, well, I'll go over there, I play golf, and so they said, well, they won't be open until Tuesday. And he said, well, I'll go to the marina, or I'll go to lake safety. And they said, well, I don't think they're doing that anymore. So you had, particularly for people that were out of town, a lack of opportunity to communicate. And I think so much of the problems that are arising are issues of communication. And so if you're going to go to strict enforcement, then have somebody available at the marina, have boat tags with lake safety, have somebody work the holiday.
We got 3 minutes.
I had a conversation
It's up.
with Scott Paul on Sunday. He's closing his gates Sunday night at 7:30, and he says that's customer service. So maybe if we just take a little bit of an attitude of customer service, these are your customers.
Yeah, I get it, Steve.
Treat them that way,
Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
and you'll have a lot better time.
Thank you.
I will say this on Steve's issue, Steve's boat sticker issue. And this is just me, but well, you knew this Band-Aid was going to be ripped off at some point. Us commissioners were out on a boat reviewing the areas that we were talking about for wake surfing, getting an idea of what way we should be leaning, and the first 4 boats that we approached didn't have stickers. None of them. And this is in early May. None of them had stickers. The first 4 boats. And we asked each one of them, "Where's your sticker?" "I just haven't gotten around to it yet." Or "I just got it out of them, just firing it up and just tooling around." No, I don't think so. I mean, all 4 of them did that. And that's unfortunate. And I think what happened is, I know a guy who was head of lake safety for a few years, and I talked to him about this. And people on purpose would wait until Memorial Weekend. And then they would go to the lake safety guy who had 50 of these stickers and just pay $50 for that sticker and did not have to be vetted whether they're a property owner or not. You had people from all over the place that were coming in buying stickers from the lake safety guy who had no way of you know, you can say, well, let's put an app on our phones where we can prove our property ownership or something. But they have cards. I understand there's ways to do it. But we knew this was going to be an issue on day one. And I didn't think it would be as bad as it was. But, you know, it's not February, you know, that Memorial Weekend is on. It's in June. It's in end of May. You got 5 months to go get your sticker. And if you're not at your lake house until May, you can always call them and they'll mail it to you.
Yep.
They'll take a credit card over the phone. And I think your customer will probably do that from now on. And I think that going forward.
And I understand that, but they should be given an opportunity. You know my boat number. And I would say the boats that I saw Memorial Day weekend, and we were on the lake a lot. Didn't see a single wake boat or wave boat, but we were on the lake, and what I did see was high winds, a lot of overloaded pontoons, not just rentals. And so
Lake Safety has their work cut out for them already.
every boat I saw had at least last year's sticker on it.
Mm-hmm.
Every single boat. Which means that at some point last year, they paid for a tag. And there's a number on the tag.
I understand.
You got the list.
Steve, I get it. You know what? I gotta go get my sticker on my car every couple of years. I can't just tell the officer that this is the same license I've had for a couple of years. Surely
Same thing
you want
with
me to get
hunting and
one.
fishing. You get to buy a hunting license every year.
You off the
Yeah, or a hunting license.
You can't say, well, I had a hunting license last year.
You warning or a citation, and you continue driving on the highway.
Yeah, I just think it was this one time. I think everybody will understand and go forward. And I think that's important that we start.
Well, and just try a little better PR. Right now, you have a PR issue. And if you don't understand that, if you want to see video,
I don't think we have a
talk
PR issue.
to the parents of the minors, because the city has police body cam video. We had 2 officers that were on that ramp. Those children's, those minors' rights were violated.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what.
If we have access to those videos, then I look forward to
We
seeing
have
it.
the rights to go down there and look at it.
Okay.
I think all of us need to go
Yeah,
together. and do that.
we'll do that if we have the ability. Any other public comments? I saw a hand.
Sure. I just have one question. When was the website updated?
What is your name?
Oh, I'm Deanna.
Deanna.
Strobee.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, when was the website updated?
As concerning
Like,
what?
Because every comment that I've seen on Facebook, somebody says, you should look it up. You can find it on the website. But I think it was 2020. So if y'all could check that out and see. And really the basic rules, like when the pool's open, what you need, blah, 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 maybe that needs to be. But I don't think Facebook is a good place.
Yeah, well, a Facebook page or the
It
website.
needs to be on this, what did you say the website was?
SID.org.
Okay, but when you look at that, a lot of these rules that I'm seeing, I don't think are on there.
Well, I think your rules and regulations pamphlet, the little gold color one, says 2021. It did say 2020.
But
We
where is
recently
that? Where
updated. As you go down through it, it'll say, click on rules and regulations in the sentence, and then when you click on it, it'll pull up that 5-page.
But do you see if you're not from here and you have no idea how to find out what the rules are? Like if you're from out of town.
You said.
Yeah, if you just bought here, you have no idea, you're wanting to get in whatever you need. If you don't know how to work your way around on that website, especially when we've got new, commissioners, we have a new manager, everything is so different. And I think that this could be a positive thing, not a negative.
Right.
But it needs to be easy.
Yeah, I think in unless we mail everybody the rule changes every time we make them, because that's about a $5,000 bill if we changed the rule and we mailed everybody a notice.
We tried to get on the email list for those changes.
Yeah.
With Webb, and he said it was gonna happen, and it never.
With who?
Yeah.
Oh, with the,
With them.
Email list.
There you
Yeah,
go. He said there was in one of these meetings.
I think reviewing the minutes.
To get on the website?
the rules and regulations, you'll find it in several different places. If you go to the home page, as it goes down and starts talking about amenities, it'll have a little blue print that'll say rules and regulations. If you keep going down, it gives copies of plat maps. It gives lots of information. Hit on your tabs at the top. We try to update it as.
Are you sure you don't have it updated only on computer and not on phone?
We don't update on our telephones, we update on our
You
computer.
have a website, I'm an IT guy.
Right.
You have a web page designed for a computer. Now they have one that will be optimized for your phone. You have to update them both.
I don't update either one, I send it to a company that we
We
pay that
probably
does
need
the
to have
updates,
that
so
number
I'll ask
because
that
I'm not
question.
seeing that.
Okay.
Okay.
That could be a major disconnect, because 95% of people use it.
Would you state your name?
I would say with what normally is happening, or what we're seeing happening now is a new person.
All right, guys, we're done.
Keep the background on.
I would entertain a motion. Any other questions questions, comments? I would entertain a motion to move into executive session.
Motion. We move into executive session.
Moved and seconded. Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
I would love to hear a motion to bring us back into session.
Motion?
Make a motion.
Okay.
Session.
Second?
And moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So in executive session, a couple of things came out. Number one, we did talk about policy and about the, because I think we may have like 3 separate issues with the kids and the boats. Number one, we have some videos that we have not seen. We have videos from a lakefront person that lives on the water. We have some body cam footage that we haven't seen, that we don't know that we can get. We're going to try to get it. So just to be very transparent, we want to make sure that our employees are following all of our, the way we don't want bad conduct coming from them, so we want to review that footage. Number 2, we want to see if the kids were truly, if the video will show us that they were truly, whether or not they were truly dangerous and speeding and that kind of thing. According to Joe, who I trust, that boat can't go any faster than 30 miles an hour anyway with that motor and that, unless it's tweaked or kicked up or whatever they call that thing. And then we have the third issue. We have the issue with the boat stickers. There were 2 kids with boat stickers, 2 20-year-olds with boats that did not have stickers. Obviously, they can't ride those boats on the water without stickers. Then there was the 15-year-old and the 13-year-old with boat stickers. But I'm going to reread this handbook, and we're all going to be on the same page as far as boating rules. We don't do boating rules. I mean, we don't make those type of rules. If a 15-year-old can be on the water with their boater, what do they call it?
Safety card.
Boater safety card at 15, I'm not sure that that's the legal part of it. I think I've read where they have to be in the boat with an 18-year-old if they only have so we'll reread that. And I think that, but as far as there's no ban on things like that. We didn't know what that meant really. So we're, obviously he can operate his boat if he's within the guidelines of the Arkansas boating handbook. Then he can operate his boat until we've seen some footage and we can determine something, and we'll get back in touch with you then. Again, but if he's 15 and he's not supposed to be out there without an 18-year-old, then obviously those rules will apply. The other 2 obviously can't be out there without a boat sticker. So that's where we are concerning the kids. The only other thing we talked about was adding another person at our SID office, because we are swamped and we can't even get titles moving back and forth, and we need help. And so we'll be posting that job. Actually, I need a motion to...
I make a motion we hire another full-time person for the city.
Second that.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
And that's the decision we made for adding a person at the SID office. I would love to hear a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'm gonna say quickly, so we understand on this band thing, he's not banned, he can golf, he can fish, he can do anything he wants to do in Cherokee Village, swim, he can go to the pool, do anything he wants to do. If he's gonna boat, he's gotta run by this book here, and if it gets too out of hand, we'll call Dustin Smith, Arkansas Game Fish Commissioner, and trust me, you don't wanna meet up with Dustin Smith, because I know him pretty darn well, and, I just wouldn't, the banned word, no, so, okay.
I think the confusion is in the pamphlet that from SID on your website says 15 and over.
I understand, but this overrules
Well, I
anything
know
that
that, but what are we supposed to go by for everything? If we're just gonna go by the game and fish
we
rules?
have to, I mean.
Hey, I love it, I love it.
Yeah, we would have to.
So we'll-
I'm guessing that would just override anything that, any policy.
I would
we
ask
have.
if we could update that on the website,
I
that
believe if you look on the website,
it says that
that.
supersedes, okay.
Yep.
Okay, was adjourning, did I miss the Arkansas game? Is it over?
Nobody knows.
Now,
So are we done?
I know I missed
You better
it.
be glad you missed it. No, I'm kidding.
Did I, a motion
Do we
was
make a
moved
motion and
seconded?
second it?
Need to vote.
All in favor?
Oh, aye.
Aye.
Thank you.